Okay, we are going to troubleshoot this newsroom area. Alex has messed it all up in ways that I actually do know some of them, but let's just pretend I don't know, and we're just going to come in and we're going to turn it on and we're going to see what happens, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, if this area is dark, the way that you turn this light on is right here. Oftentimes I've been told that this light up here is burned out, and really it's just turned off. So it's on a dimmer switch, and you can just turn it on or off, and it should be on. It's okay if people turn it on or off, but it should be on. So the first thing that you want to turn on is the TV. Now, the TV comes on, and I know that at this point we're going to get nothing. We're going to get no image, okay? The first thing that you want to do to make sure, or that could be wrong, I guess is what I'm saying, is this thing right here, okay? No picture will come if somebody has turned this off. So the first thing we're going to try is we're going to turn that on, okay? Still nothing, okay? This thing has 3 different inputs. One is nothing, one is the news camera, and one is the weather camera, okay? So we're going to switch it to the news camera. Nothing, okay? We're going to switch it to the weather camera. Static. So I know that something is wrong with both of the cameras, okay? So let's start with the newsroom camera first, okay? We're gonna put it on setting number 2, that's the news camera. We're gonna turn the lights on in there, okay? And we're gonna go in and see if we can figure out what's wrong with the news camera. Now I'm gonna turn this TV on too. Okay, just gonna turn it on, and we're gonna see if we get any input on it. No, and I can tell from this thing saying channel 7 that it's somebody has switched the input. I wonder who did that, Alex. Okay, we are going to, we're going to use that camera or that monitor in there. Now, when something is wrong with the camera, 90% of the time it is the same thing. Back here on the back is this power cord, okay? And it just plugs in right there, and you'll see the camera come to life, and ooh, that was our issue. Okay, so that's why the news camera wasn't working, and kids will pull on this thing, okay? And this thing can be deceptive, because sometimes what people will do is they'll pull like this, and look, it just went off, but it still looks like it's plugged in. And what's happening is there's a little silver button here you have to press, that little silver button that unhooks it, and you can see if you look in there that the housing, this little interior part, can slide back in that cylinder. So if you yank on this cord, you'll lose the electrical connection. So sometimes you actually need to push that back up into place and then plug it in. So if somebody calls me and tells me that this is not working, 90% of the time somebody has yanked this cord, has slid that interior piece away or back from the cylinder where it's not making the electrical connection. So you undo it, just slide it back in like that, and plug it back in. That will 90% of the time solve this not working. Sometimes you will come to the camera and find that it looks like this, where you can see there is a little bit of an image. You see there's a little bit of darkness, but it's mostly dark. I don't have the faintest idea why this setting is here, but there is a knob right there that greatly affects the amount of light that the camera perceives. So if you look at the monitor over there, you'll see that's a setting, that's a setting, that's a setting, that's a setting, but I like this nice bright setting, okay, which is number 2 on the setting bar right there. So if the camera is working but the image is super duper dark, it is usually almost always this. There is another way to do it, but since adding this plexiglass, the other way is really hard to do, and this one is not that hard. So visitors sometimes will turn this thing and the image is working, the camera is working, it's just super dark, okay? So now we have the newsroom camera working, but it's not showing up correctly on here.
Sorry, one more quick thing. The other thing is, even though it says do not touch, a lot of times it'll be really fuzzy, and it's just this little button below here, and that's the zoom in and zoom out, and that helps it focus. So that's another
There's an auto, here, it's this right here, manual versus autofocus. It should be on autofocus.
Okay, let's see, let me zoom in on that real quick. Thank you.
This is the zoom. So if you do this, you zoom in real tight, and do this, you zoom in back. So if you come in and it's zoomed in ridiculously tightly like that, then you just unzoom with this little button right there. Yeah, that's one thing my plexiglass barrier did not fully cover.
Perfect.
So this is showing no image, but I know the camera is putting out an image because it's showing up over there. So this is undoubtedly the source. So where is it? No. Where is our input selector? I can't remember. Oh, it's just the channel selector.
This is channels. Yeah.
That's right. So it's below channel 3. That's it. So if you channel up, you'll cycle through the numbers. If you go down to basically what would be the equivalent of channel 1, that's the input for this. Okay, so the
Perfect.
news camera is fully working. It's showing on both monitors. So the weather camera, if we switch over to input number 3 here, that should show the weather camera clearly. It's not, there's really only one thing that ever goes wrong with the weather camera, which is that people pull this little plug out. Can't remember even where it pulled. I thought it was on the side. Oh, it is. It's on the side right here. I was looking for a round connection, but it's a little square connection, and it goes in this little square hole marked lens. And the image that we're getting is a big fuzzy mess because Alex
Oh dear.
messed with the focus on it, and that's this outer ring right here. The inner ring also does some sort of focus effect too, and so you just have to tinker with these rings until you get it where you like it. Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
And that is completely working. That is probably 95% of what goes wrong, or not really necessarily goes wrong, but that visitors intentionally destroy, offset, mess up in this room. But if this is not working when you fit it, turn it on, if you go through that process, probably 95% of the time that'll solve the problem. The other 5% of the time, come get me.